Send things over to you, Jessica.
Catherine, thank you. Well, today is Kentucky's first Republican presidential caucus. So joining us, we have Ryan Salzman from Northern Kentucky University to really help us understand what today's votes mean. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for joining us. We saw Sean Lanier. He's live there at one of the polling places in Florence. A lot of folks are completely unaware this is even happening today. It's unusual.
It is unusual. Usually the Kentucky primaries happen in May, and they will still be happening in May, actually, including all of the other races on the Republican ticket, as well as all of the races on the Democratic ticket, top to bottom.
You were saying that this caucus is very similar to a primary. What's the differences in this one in general, and what should folks expect when they do go to the polls today?
So caucuses historically are just short for party gathering. And so the parties get together to choose their nominees. And so what we're used to seeing are like what we saw in Iowa and Colorado, where they gather together at a single time, they cast votes, and then they come out in this very meeting-like environment. These caucuses are really only caucuses in name in that regard. We have a primary, so we had to call these something different. But the process, for those that are going out to the polls, the process will be to, much like a regular primary, you walk in and you'll have your ballot that you get to choose from. Now, one thing that's different with this event is that there will be a room, there's a place where you can learn about the candidates. And of course, if you're familiar with elections, you know that that's very unusual. Usually you cannot campaign, you can't have any information anywhere on site. And so in this instance, that you will be able to actually go into a room, learn about the candidates, and then go in and place your vote. But the ballot will look very similar to a regular ballot. You don't have to stick around for some kind of large meeting. You just cast your ballot from 10 to 4 and then head on your way.
Interesting. Now, we just showed you a live shot at where one of the polling places will be in Florence Baptist Church. You're saying that, you're going to learn more about these candidates. Are there going to be, people from each candidate's campaign there as well talking with voters?
No,
okay.
But some of them have signed up to run, and I can't say who will be at each polling place. I know that at times the Cruz campaign, Rubio campaign, and Trump campaign have reached out to get that approval. Again, I don't know who will be at each of the sites in the 3 counties around here, but there should be information, I believe, on the candidates. And my understanding as well is that if you're a supporter of those candidates, those rooms, those areas may be available to you. But I would refer to your precinct chairman there for all of those questions.
Interesting. You were telling me during the break, all 11 hopefuls will be on this ballot, so you could vote for folks who have already dropped out.
I think that they may be informing you whether or not you will actually, if they're part of the race or not, but my understanding is if you want to vote for Rand Paul, you can vote for Rand Paul. If you want to vote for Ben Carson, you can vote for Ben Carson. They're all available for you to vote, and those votes will be counted.
That's really interesting there. Let's talk about Kentucky as a whole, because this is a big political time for the state as a whole right now.
The next 4 days are really big in Kentucky, and these are a lot of things that aren't being talked about except among those who are kind of in the know. We have the caucuses today, of course, which are very important in Kentucky, being that it's moved pretty solidly into the red category when we think about the different political parties. But also there are 4 special House elections that will take place on Tuesday, and if all 4 of those were to flip from the Democratic position where they are currently held, although they've been vacated, which is why there's a special election. If all 4 of those are to go Republican, then we will have a 50-50 split in the House of Representatives in Kentucky, which, while we don't know exactly how that will resolve itself, what we do know is that that will be as close to having an entirely Republican-controlled government in Kentucky as we've had in decades.
Wow, that's really interesting.
It's big. There's a lot on the line, and I know that a lot of people, particularly in the tri-state area, may not be aware of that, but these are very, very important things for us to know. And I'll be back on Monday to talk about the results of the caucus and maybe talk about those special elections some more.
That would be great. By the way, let's give you another live look at one of the polling places in Florence really quickly. Again, that's going to start at 10 o'clock this morning. Sean Lanier has been talking about it all morning long. There's a couple other places as well in Kentucky that you can vote in our viewing area. We have that information on our website at fox19now.com. Who do you think, really quickly, Ryan, while I have you here, would maybe come out on top in Kentucky?
Yeah, the safe money's on Trump, but it's going to be really hard to tell. There's a 5% minimum threshold, though, so most candidates that garner substantial votes will get some of the 46 delegates.
Ryan, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Really, always a pleasure to have you, and hearing your insight, always really, really interesting. And he's right a lot of the time, too. I'll have to say that. Ryan, thanks again. 8:57 now. Let's give you a live look outside here on this Saturday morning. We were talking about a rain-snow mix. It doesn't look too bad at this point, but soon it's going to be nice and warm this week coming. Catherine has your forecast when we come back on Fox 19 Now.